r/AskReddit. What is something perfectly legal that feels illegal? Having something of yours in your pocket while in a store that also sells that thing. I once brought in with me a bottle of water and got hassled for it, and I was buying other items. So like yeah, I really needed to steal that 30-cent bottle of water. Anyway, they checked the cameras and apologized rather unenthusiastically. Edit. To all the people asking me about the 30-cent water, I live in Eastern Europe. Thus the low price of water and the moody condescending retail workers. As for the legal point of view, they didn't at any point detain me. One cashier stayed with me at the register, while another went to check the cameras. Of course I could have walked away, but I went there almost every day and felt like I should stay and clear things up. After a while I heard from some people that at that same store, they walked in with some sodas, half empty, and the cashier tried to take it out of their hands and scan it. I guess it's their thing. Filling out government forms. I answer honestly, but constantly feel like I'm going to misinterpret a question and somehow commit some manner of bureaucratic felony. Edit. Damn. Thanks for the upvotes and the metal. Mysterious benefactors. Are the capture effect, where things you've understood implicitly and without error all your life suddenly become the world's most difficult questions. Does that count as a sign? Are those street lights? Does that count as a car? Doing anything but in sight of a police car. They pull up behind me and I'm suddenly running a list in my head of all the illegal things I might have done. Registration? Up to date. Car inspection? Up to date. Am I drunk? No, you actually don't drink. Hi, not today. Weed? Safely hidden at home. The postal police parked right in front of me the other day as I was sitting in my car browsing Reddit, and immediately I thought, shit, did I commit mail fraud and not even know it? Driving when near a cop. Everyone in front of me feels the same way. Speed limit of 80. Everyone cruising at 85. Cop passes. Lights off. Everyone shows down to 75. I've had cops tell me they can't stand that. They want to go places too, and everyone around them starts driving 10 under. Going into Costco, eating all the free samples, then walking out. It's legal, but I feel like a scumbag when I do it. LMAO. There are people at my Costco that show up specifically for that. I really wouldn't have a problem with them, but they wait for 10 ducking minutes at each sample station and stand in the middle of the aisle, not allowing me to move around them. That's when it gets annoying. You mean going out for dinner? Bringing home a newborn infant. Edit. First gold. Thanks, stranger. But the catch is that it's gotta be yours, right? Just making sure. Ianal. But I'm pretty sure it's finders keepers. I still can't believe they do that at the hospital. Okay, here's the human. Off you go. Ripping off a few bananas before you buy them from the grocery store if you don't want the whole bundle. I once witnessed a friend of mine buy a single banana and I was shook. Edit. My first award. Thank you. Walking through nothing to declare at the airport and having a nagging concern that just maybe you managed to pack 5 kilos of cocaine, a handgun, several tons of pest-infested fruit and 2,000 cigarettes over the tobacco limit. It's always a gamble, but I've been lucky so far. I accidentally took a fairly large knife onto a flight from the US to UK once, in cabin luggage, and all was fine until I landed. As I was heading over to nothing to declare, I was pulled aside, explaining that away was tough, and it was confiscated. I don't see what the point was at that point. I'd forgotten to hijack the plane, so what's the harm in me bringing a completely clean knife into the country? Conversely, I accidentally tried to take a plastic knife from some fancy dress outfit onto a flight from France to the UK, but was pulled aside by French airport security. Turning the light on inside the car when you're driving. I called my mom out when I realized recently it's not illegal. You lied to me. You know what this woman says? Are you sure? My mom always told me it was illegal. 53 years my mother believed her mother's lie and passed it on to her kids. 53 years. Driving 250 plus kilometers per hour on the German autobahn. Especially when crossing the border from another country, and you can drive so much faster that you're used to from the country you made holiday in. The autobahn is ducking terrifying. I remember when my ex let me drive her car for a while. I pulled out to pass someone just as I noticed a BMW in the rearview mirror. By the time I'd pulled back over into the slow lane, it had already gone flying past me. Truly insane speed. It felt like I'd stumbled onto a Formula 1 track by accident. Marrying someone for their money, then divorcing them and taking almost everything. This isn't my original idea, but going through customs at the airport you always feel like you've done something wrong. Like, what if I accidentally have a gun? I don't even own a gun, but what if I accidentally have a gun? How would I explain that? Walk into an Ulta Beauty store and spraying some expensive cologne from the tester bottle before going to your interview. Update. No, I don't overdo it. I like light smells. Too heavy and I get a headache as well. Something that's fresh because I want to feel like a new car going into an interview or a date or wherever I have that's somewhat important or gives a good first impression. I once went into Ulta and left with a full face of makeup from trying new things. I didn't buy anything and probably would have felt guilty, but I was tipsy. Don't feel guilty. Feel disgusted. Samples are almost impossible to disinfect. I mean, so are urinal cakes. Doesn't stop me from licking them. Walking out from a shop without buying anything. For real, the worst thing for me is when I spend 10+ minutes in a store looking for one thing and one thing only to find they do not have it. So I end up buying at least a soda. IDKY. It's like I know I've done nothing wrong, but I have some weird fear of being accused. Having a tank as your personal vehicle. Just buy one with a credit card. Don't worry about paying it off. They won't go after someone with a tank. Nobody will. This isn't legal most places because they're tracked and tear up the roads. You can, however, import a BTR for $40,000 and it's totally legal to drive most places. Buying alcohol for the first time when you turn 21. In the UK you have to be 18 to legally drink alcohol, so when I turned 18 back in 2014 I bought my first pint but felt like I was going to court drinking underage despite having a provisional driver's license. You can drink at 16 in pubs if you're with your parents or an adult. Reading most all of a book in a bookstore and then putting it back on the shelf. When I owned a used bookstore I had several reading nooks with side tables, lamps, and big comfy chairs just for this. I'd argue that it would help more than hurt a business, especially if you found a way to monetize it, like by adding a small cafe-esque deal where they could buy pastries and drinks. If you set it up correctly you could make the atmosphere seem inviting and make the store more appealing by making it appear more busy than it really is. Taking more than one free sample. I always make sure to bring my fake mustache and hat. Taking many napkins from a cafe restaurant and pocketing them to use as tissues. Pro tip. Starbucks and Chipotle have the best ones. McDonald's can be rough on the nose. My husband is obsessed with the high quality of the Chipotle forks. He keeps a bunch in his car for fork emergencies. Going through a metal detector always gives me anxiety, even though I usually have nothing to hide. Cannibalism. If I am not mistaken, you are not. In the US you can consume someone's flesh as long as they consent. That one guy on here made tacos out of his foot and his friends ate it. Taking a free sample of food when walking past a food vendor. Obviously they're offering it for free and obviously there are no laws being broken. But I just cannot help but feel guilty, so I stand there after eating said sample and pretend to deliberate if I plan to purchase a meal there or not before slowly walking away once I've lost the attention of the guy handing out the samples. Calling a teacher by their first name. Like it's not illegal but it's illegal. Accidentally calling a teacher mom or dad. Going into a store to use the restroom without buying anything. My little brother is the type of guy to crack open a Gatorade to quench his thirst, browse around the store and then check out the empty Gatorade bottle at the end. My mom did that with ice cream when we were kids, so we'd have our sweets and shut up about wanting anything else. She'd place the empty wraps on the belt for checkout. Cashiers never had a problem with it as long as the barcode was intact, and some other parents actually liked the idea. Ice cream equals best pacifier in a store full of sweets. Expressing my opinion on Reddit. Using a VPN. Maybe not illegal exactly, but I definitely feel a little shady about it. It will be illegal soon. First you'll be a IST or phone of some sorts though, then a criminal. I'm old enough to remember the USA I fled from. Walking around naked in Alabama. I shit you not, it's actually legal. Whoa, I gotta try that. I would, but IDK how I'd hide my erection. Trying to lockpick my own house cause I can't find my key. Having sex with animals. Legal in 11 states in the US. Wait, people do that? Driving around a legal recreation state fully aware of the weed I just bought, my dab pen, and a new bong in my backseat uncovered and perfectly safe from being arrested for any of those. Still can't get over it, lol. Adjusting your penis when it gets scrunched up against your inner thigh on an airplane. Connecting Lego flat pieces sideways. Joining a cult. Starting a cult. Stockpiling firearms as a cult. Marrying your first cousin. Taking somebody else's full cart of food at the grocery store. You can literally take anything from anybody's cart before paying. Thanks for doing my shopping. Can you get your kids out, please? Basically the entire r/unethical life pro tips subreddit. Some of that stuff is definitely illegal though. Drinking Pepsi in a Coke glass. The Yellowstone Zone of Death is the name given to the 50 square mi, 129.50 km2, Idaho section of Yellowstone National Park in which, as a result of a loophole in the Constitution of the United States, a criminal could theoretically get away with any crime, up to and including murder, Wikipedia. Not tipping bad waiters. Drinking a beer on the street in New Orleans. Whoa. You made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.